Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a special live training with Jon Tilley from ZonGuru, how to optimize your competitors, how to out-optimize your competitors' product listings to dominate your niche on Amazon. John, how are you today?
What's up, Gary? Good to see you, man. And I'm excited for today. You've always got an awesome audience who are real sellers wanting to dominate Amazon. So it's going to be exciting. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited. I'm fumbling my words, man. It's this thing is out of control. So today, again, John is the CEO of ZonGuru, one of the leading product software tools for Amazon sellers. He's a successful entrepreneur, Amazon thought leader. Spent 15 years working as an account director and strategist for some of the top digital agencies all over the world. And he started his Amazon journey in 2014, launching a number of successful private label brands. And soon afterwards, he co-founded ZonGuru with Adam Hudson of Reliable Education. So today, mainly it's going to be a couple of things that John is going to show you. You know, they work with a lot of big sellers, and they really have their finger on the pulse as to what's working right now. So he's going to show you how to find the most relevant and impactful keywords. He's also going to help you understand what the data says about these keywords, how you can implement this into your listings. He's also going to show you how to use these keywords to out optimize against your competitors, and also learn how to monitor your competitors, how to analyze this and optimize it, so you can boost your own keyword ranking to get onto page one. So for those of you guys that are joining us live, if you can see and hear us, can you please type your name and also where you're watching from in the chat so we know. So John, where are you joining us today?
I'm in my little office over here in Los Angeles. I've been here in Los Angeles for about 17 years. So all the way from LA, which I know, Gary, you know California well. And
My hometown. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we've been around since 2016, and we have all of that data. I've been looking at the data. I've been talking to customers, so it's interesting to see how Amazon's evolving. And I'm more excited now about Amazon than I've ever been. I think the next level of the growth of Amazon is here, not only on .com but internationally. Some of the global Amazon marketplaces are awesome. So anybody listening now, I think it's been a wild year or 2 years, and it's going to get wilder, but it's going to get more fun as an entrepreneurs. That's what we jam for, so it's good.
For sure. And as we're getting ready for next year, I think it's even more important because there's more competition, but there's more opportunities as well. So John's really going to unpack this in our training today. And I'd like to welcome a couple of people that are joining us live. Welcome to Dee Blundell from Sunshine Coast of Queensland, Australia. Welcome Deborah, also from Gold Coast, Australia, and Sujana from Bunbury, Western Australia. G'day, guys. It looks like we have a lot of Aussies in the house, so super excited. All right. So without further ado, John, would you like to start today's training, and we'll bring up the slides?
Nah, I think you should just do it, Gary. You just do the training.
They hear enough of me as it is, so everyone's looking forward to hearing from you, John. So
good.
There you go.
Yeah, let's jam. I think. Look, I want to cover some theory, obviously, up front, and just some of the thoughts that I'm having around Amazon and listing optimization, which is the topic of today. Obviously, we can dive into many different topics, and in Q&A, feel free to ask whatever you want, because I'm open to anything. But I'm going to cover theory for a few minutes. Then we're going to jump in. And I'm going to show you some of the actual data and how you can use that, and then hopefully we have Q&A at the end. So Gary's going to keep tight ship here and keep it rolling. So feel free to ask questions. Gary will interject, ask, or however you guys want to run it. I want to make sure that we give you as much value as we can in the next few minutes. So
absolutely. And if I can just jump in, if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We had over 180 people that submitted questions before the webinar, and I shared all of those questions with John. We won't have time to answer everything, but we're gonna take the 80-20 of the top questions. We'll try to get through as many as we can. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll try to highlight them as we go through. All right, sound good, John?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a question, 10x that. We want hard questions. Everyone can benefit from them. So give it your best shot. It'll be good.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Gary fumbled his words earlier, so if you can make me fumble my words with a question, that's a good thing. All right, cool. Let's jump into it. Okay. So we're talking today about listing optimization, right? Which is, at a high level, it's like, how do we get in front of the most, customers on Amazon and get the best conversion rate? That's ultimately what listing optimization is. And the way I framed this today for today's training is contextual Amazon SEO. I think, and what I mean by contextual, I think in 2022, everything in Amazon is contextual. And what I mean is, in the previous years, we spend a lot of time focusing on our listing. Hey, how do we get our keywords? How do we get our most sales? But moving into 2022, with the data we have, we're moving to this idea of contextual, which is like, how is my listing performing? But what are my competitors doing? How's the industry doing? You have to have context for everything. So I'm going to give you a couple of pointers around that as to how to think about it, to broaden your scope about how you should optimize your listing. So let's click here and hopefully we can move forward. Let's see. Oops. There we go. Okay, so your Amazon success is context. So what I mean by that, I mean, what's happening to your listing? We always want to know what's happening to our listing, our product. What's happening to the competition? What are they doing? What are their behaviors? What is Amazon's algorithm doing? What do we need to do on that front to get the best out of the Amazon algorithm? Is it helping us? Is it hurting us? And then importantly, what are customers doing? What is their behavior? How are they acting? And if you can put all of those four things together and you can address each of these things in context, you're going to do the best with your listing. You're going to be number one. You can crush the competition, connect with your customers, be in favor with Amazon's algorithm, and obviously have the best product out there. So this is what I mean by context. Don't think of one of these things. Think of all of them. Let's start with the first one. So the first one I think I want to touch on is, if I'm thinking about my listing and what I'm creating, my door to my store, of products, the first thing I want to think about is my customer. And when I think about the customer, these are really important pieces to me. The first is, the target audience, right? So it's a strange one, but a lot of us forget when we're doing a product, creating a product or a listing, we forget about really thinking about and understanding who our target avatar is and doing the research around that to understand what are their emotions and how to best connect with that customer. So it's a really important step, even in your product creation, but make sure you interview your target audience. You truly understand what are their emotional needs and wants and how to connect with them. That's such a critical point. Don't miss out on that. The second one is, what are the buyer decision mechanics, right? And this is, I guarantee you, if you do this step, you will at least put a couple of points on your conversion and your revenue just by doing the step, because I bet you will uncover a few key insights that you never thought of before. And what I mean by that is, make sure that you can walk through and understand the buyer decision process. So not only who your customer is, but what do they ask themselves when they're buying your type of product? And the best way to do that, and it's free, is just use a service called Loom. It's a screen recording service. We use it in our business all the time. And just get a few of your target audiences to go and buy a product on Amazon, not yours, but just your product category, and ask them to go to the search results page and record that session and walk through what questions they ask themselves when they go through that process. And I guarantee you will find some insights, even on the top 10 listings, where they're not answering in their listing what should be answered in order to help with the buyer conversion process. And then you can add those to your listing and you'll convert. I just did one a few weeks ago with a pull-up board. And no listing had the measurements between the two screws, the screw holes, where it actually goes into the wall. And that was a really important piece that people wanted to know to get into the studs in the wall. I don't know why they didn't have it. And just adding that added, a few points to the conversion rate. So these are the kind of things that even in a big category like that, people forget. What are the common review themes? So, we have a tool. I'm going to show you this in a second, but it's called the love-hate tool. But understanding what are the key common themes around what people love or hate about a product based on reviews. There's a really simple way to look at that. It's so important. And then use that in your benefit overlays. It's so critical. And then the last point I have here is, it's funny, but make sure you get in what are the actual keywords that people are typing into Amazon right now, whether it's .com, EU, Australia. The keywords are different, right? And a lot of these tools here just, rely on a reverse lookup. Yeah, they're taking the keywords from other listings, but are those what people are actually putting into Amazon? You need to have brand analytics and a few other key insights into what are people actually typing into Amazon and get those keywords. It's a huge opportunity that a lot of people miss. These are just some of my top thoughts around when you're actually thinking about the customer and your listing optimization that I wanted to highlight. The second thing here,
John, I had a quick question if I could interject.
Yeah,
I love the idea about interviewing your customer and even doing a Loom video on your last slide. How do you do that? I mean, as Amazon sellers, we're traditionally we go through all the reviews and all that stuff. And I actually, like, back in college years ago, I interviewed at an ad agency, and we used to run focus groups, and we would invite people in on the weekend, sit them down, pay them some money to walk them through the whole buying decision process. But how would you do this applied in the Amazon selling world?
Yeah, so I think it literally is as simple as finding 5 people through your network who are your avatar. You know them for sure, and then just approaching with an email and saying, hey, here's $50 or whatever your price is. Please go and buy a product in this category and use this Loom service, which is free. You download it as a Chrome extension and just record that session. So it's as simple as that. Like, we don't have to over elaborate it and say, hey, there's Google surveys or there's ways to find a bunch, right? But there's other services out there. There's some services, I think, Pickfu are even kind of going into the space. They haven't got it, but here's a free tool, and just interviewing even 2 people who are your avatar and recording that will be huge in helping your conversion rate. So it's simple. It doesn't have to be more elaborate than that.
All right, sounds great. Let's keep going, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so contextual optimization, thinking about the competition. This is obviously huge, right? So what am I doing to my listing? But what are competitors doing? Where are they optimizing? This is really important in understanding how to beat them, right? And the first one is like, okay, well, answer the question: who has the best listing? Now, what does best mean? It's where do they rank, right? Organic rank for sure on your main buyer keywords. That's obviously important. Number 2 is clicks and conversions. That doesn't mean they've got the highest revenue out of all the listings, but who's getting the most clicks and conversions? And is that based on their images, their price, their reviews? What is getting customers to click on that list? Excuse me, on that listing. Now, in brand analytics, you can get that monthly or bi-monthly data around what is the most clicked and converted listings out of all of them, and you'll be surprised who they are. We actually build a lot of that into our tool, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Average conversion rate, right? This is huge. If everything's about conversion rates and knowing your conversion rate for your product, what is the average conversion rate, for page 1, right? If you can understand what that is and get insight into that, that is going to be huge, because all you have to do is beat that conversion rate, and you're going to start to increase your ranking. That's a huge one, and it's a hard one to solve, and we have ways of solving that. So that's a big one. Storefront, EBC, this is becoming more of a focus now for Amazon, about this idea of supporting brands. So not only looking at listings, but looking at the storefronts. Who's got the best storefront? Who has the best EBC, the best videos? These are really important things to understand. And Amazon, values those, right? So go and spend some time looking at not just your product competitor, your competitor's product, but look at their storefronts. It's really important. How are they optimized? Keyword placement. Where are they placing the keyword? What's the optimization score for that listing? How are they ranking for their keywords? What is the depth of their ranking of the keywords? Not just their number 1 or 2, but how deep are they actually ranking for keywords on that listing? What are their back-end keywords? We have a tool called Keyword Spotlight. You can actually look at back-end keywords on your competitors. No one else has it in the space, but what are they putting in there? Are they putting in Spanish keywords? What's driving them? What insight do they have that maybe we are missing, right? And then this is a really important one, but what is the keyword opportunity? So what I mean by that is, it's very easy to find. In some cases, it's fine to find the highest search volume keywords, right? And most listings have those. But where you have a real leg up on your competition is if you can analyze and understand, hey, where are the opportunistic keywords that might have not as much search volume, but they have decent search volume, but the competitors haven't really found those keywords and they're not optimized for those. What are those ones? Let me pull out and focus a campaign on those and get some really good conversion rates for those keywords. And you'll see this kind of halo effect where you'll start to rank for even some of those higher keywords. So there's kind of these back-end ways to get in and beat your competition if you just have the data and the visualization to look at that. I'm going to show you that as well as how to look at those keyword opportunities. So these are really important when you're looking at your listing. So this is kind of like a little bit more technical, but it's an evolution of where we're going in 2022.
And John, I just wanted to highlight some questions we had in the pre-registration survey, and especially when it comes to keyword optimization, how to optimize my listings with the best on page 1. How do we know which keywords to use? And as well as listing optimization. You mentioned who has the best listing. You're looking at the rank, the conversion rates, the clicking conversions. We had several people ask a very interesting question. What's like the hierarchy of rank among everything in the back end or the listing? Like, is it possible? I don't know if you were going to cover this later, but someone asked, can you please rank all of the front and back end areas of the product page in order of priority for optimization value? Is that something that you can highlight somewhere in the presentation?
I can talk about it now. I think we're going to look at this in a little bit of detail when I jump into the tool. But the way that we do our listing optimization is we have the best keywords and we contextually look at your listing versus your top 8 competitors, right? So you can see where they are optimized and where we're optimized. So we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. But in terms of where you place the keyword, in terms of the score that you get, number one, and this is the number one, no matter where you put it in your listing, is relevancy, right? And you've got to make sure that there's a relevancy between the keywords that you have and the product that you sell. And it sounds simple, but a lot of people are like, hey, these are great keywords, and we just put them in my listing, and that hurts you, right? So you've got to be relevant, number one. And number two, in terms of priority, nothing much has changed, over the years, but it's obviously your title first. You get more. If you convert for a keyword in your title, you get more ranking juice than if you have it in other parts of your listing. And it's definitely exact match and then phrase. But even phrase is kind of good enough nowadays. And they say, yes, more in the front end of the title is better. That said, there's some iterations on that are starting to happen where I think we're moving away from overstuffed titles into more of a professional looking title. But you can do that really well with phrase match versus exact match. So that's something that's important to look at. So it's title first, then it's your bullets, then it's your description, and then it's your back-end keywords. And importantly, what I would say is ensuring that you tag your images with some decent keywords. I think that is starting to have some benefit not only on Amazon but on Google. So make sure you tag your images with descriptions. So that's the order. I would say the one that you should mess with least is probably your back-end keywords and filling out everything on your back-end search terms. Make sure that everything on there is filled out. And yes, you can tweak a few here or there, but there's something there that once you kind of get that right, just stick with it on the back end and work on the front end, I think is better. And then what I would say, and I think I talk about this a little bit, but make sure you're doing partial uploads, flat file uploads, once a month or whatever, because whatever happens, sometimes keywords fall off or whatever. And if you can keep partially uploading and just keeping that fresh on Amazon side, it makes a huge difference to your business overall. And, if some of your keywords drop off, it's easy to put them back, but make a partial upload, not like a full flat file upload.
Excellent. Great tips. All right. I know you have a lot to cover, so let's keep going, John.
Okay, cool. Amazon, right? So algorithm, these are just, there's so much we can talk about here, but things for me that stand out is on the SEO algorithm. I think one thing that's important is quality score. And what I mean by that is ensuring that once you have your optimized listing and you're using either a PPC software or you're using the search term reports to kind of look at and see what keywords people are converting on and finding new keywords that potentially you don't have, make sure that you have a quality score, that you have those keywords in your listing as well as your PPC, right? It's again a simple thing, but people forget that they're doing all this PPC work, but they don't even have that exact match keyword in their listing. So you've got to update both, because there's a quality score between what are you driving, what's relevant through your PPC, and then what do you actually have in your listing. So that's an important piece that some people miss. How many keywords you need to index for? Some people say 3,000. I would say anything like 1,500 and above. make sure you index for a wide array of keywords. And again, maybe you can start to move a little bit less relevant, but a large amount of keywords and being indexed for that just means more eyeballs on your listing, more chance of getting traffic. So ensure you have a bunch of keywords indexed. Session and conversion percentage, again, these are things that you can look at in the reports, but understanding what your conversion rate is, you should as a seller know what your conversion rate is, and then hopefully understand that contextually versus your competitors. So really important point. Image tagging I talked about. Traffic sources. So again, Amazon's, it's all about like, hey, the PPC, they're definitely, focused on that and the organic ranking of your listing, but they are favoring for sure outside traffic and internal traffic within the application, the Amazon storefront, the Amazon application, right? Which is through Amazon posts, right? You have the chance to have your Instagram style, brand placement within Amazon, right? Which is a free service that Amazon offers that you can put, like, it's almost like getting a social media following, but that drives through to your Amazon store. Use that because that is their player brand, and if you use their services, their channels to get traffic to you, it's going to help the algorithm, right? So anything that Amazon offers, use the Amazon posts. External traffic, they're paying you for it right now, right? There's an affiliate fee on the back end of that. So make sure you're using external traffic. It's as simple as setting up Google Ads, right? You can do that. You can drive it directly to your store, to your listing, or have a squeeze page and do that. This is not hard stuff. There's plenty of solutions out there, but do that and drive that external traffic. Always monitor your brand health for sure. The big thing with Amazon, right, is to be consistent with stock. If you can stay in stock and you're getting a good conversion rate and you have healthy stock, Amazon's starting to favor more of those bigger players. They'll give you a chance as a small time player, but they have big brands on there. So you need stock, right? You have to stay in stock, and then make sure you do those partial flat file uploads that I talked about. You can do this directly through ZonGuru, by the way. On the listing optimizer, you can just push a button and it will just connect and upload it directly to Amazon. It'll do that partial flat file upload, so that you're not overwriting anything that's already there. You're just updating and refreshing and kind of deduping against what they have, right? So that's an important step.
And John, could we take a question from Robin?
Mm-hmm.
So on your last slide, you had mentioned conversion rates. Robin asks, how do you find out the average conversion rate for your category?
So that's interesting, and no one is solving that yet. I think TBD. We have a release on that coming up pretty soon. But I think not only your category but your page one, I think, is really important. And how can we get at the maker of understanding conversion rates? I can show you some stuff, Robin. If you connect with me, I'll show you what we're doing. But watch the space. Something is coming out. But it's important to understand your conversion rates and then understand that versus your at least your page one on your main keywords. And that's coming up.
Definitely. So guys, be sure to stick around to the end. So we have a very special offer that John's gonna mention at the end. And Robin, highly recommend you follow with John. I believe John will be sharing his contact details at the end as well. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, happy to field that question. And I think the offer at the end, it's nothing crazy special, but it's really there that if you haven't tried ZonGuru, there's a good chance to just get in and try it and see what you think, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, great. So thanks, John. Let's keep going.
All right. So your listing, right? What are the important pieces there? Again, these are pretty straightforward things, right? But like, so many people launch, especially when they launch, and they're like, oh, I've done all this work for a year and I still haven't got these things right. So make sure you get these right: images, video, price. There's price automation that is even private label sellers are now using, which I think is a huge impact against your competitors, and obviously conversion rate. So pricing automation, reprices you can even start using. Overlays, making sure you have overlays on your images, like that's a huge one. Calling out the main benefits. EBC, you have to be trademarked these days. Amazon just simply doesn't love you if you're not trademarked, right? And then using outside traffic and using Amazon posts, these are really important. Again, if you're doing your listing, don't just use a reverse lookup tool, because that's basically reverse indexing what other competitors have in their listing. Yes, that's important, but they might not be actually having the most relevant current keywords that you actually need from what Amazon buyers are actually typing into Amazon, right? So you need to index. Don't index for the incorrect keywords. Get a keyword tool that uses local marketplace keywords. That's like, for example, brand analytics. We have that. We see huge, holes when people are optimizing for Amazon.com, and then they're trying to do that for their German listing, right? And they're just doing a translation when they should actually be looking at what are the keywords people are typing in on Germany and putting that into the listing. So when we look at that, there's massive holes that even the best sellers don't have in their listing, which is crazy. So you've got to understand what are people typing into Amazon to find your product category in that local Amazon marketplace, right? That's really important. Listing order, we just talked about that. Don't overstuff the listing. So this is an interesting one, but in the past, there used to be like an overstuffing of the title, right? Especially the title. And then we've moved to this idea of having more of a phrase match on the title and keeping it much shorter and professional. That's the way that we lean, and we think is the best way forward. I have heard some insights around when you launch initially, maybe overstuff your title for the beginning, and then after a while, just kind of clean that out, and then have those words in your title, in your bullets and description. But I would overall, if you do a really good job with your product and your setup, I don't think you need to overstuff your title at all, and especially if you phrase match, and your ranking will just go up for sure. What I talked about earlier, short tail, long tail, opportunity keywords. So, what I mean by this is, yes, have the short tail, and what I mean by short tail are like, high search volume, broader keyword category keywords that you should have in your listing. Yes, you have to have that, but have some of those long tail keywords, much more relevant, much more descriptive, much more intent driven from your customers, right? That if they type in, white camping water bottle for men, and that's your product, your chance of conversion is way higher. So make sure you have those long tail and those opportunity keywords, those keywords that your competitors aren't ranking for or haven't optimized for, that you can really convert on and then start to beat them. So make sure you have all of those. And then again, make sure you have that match on your PPC campaign. So that's a really important piece that you need to get right when you optimize your listings. Get your listings translated, please. Like, you guys, people previously loved to skimp on image creation, right? And not getting a professional image shot. Hopefully most people have moved beyond that, but now it's like the listing, they're using Google Translate. I can guarantee you right now, if you Google Translate a listing and you're selling in international markets and you don't have a localized flavor on that, your conversion rate is going to go through the toilet, right? So understanding what works well in Germany, right? They don't like the over salesy pitch that they love in the US. They like it much more clear, direct. So make sure you get that right if you are doing international listings. And then use your backend search terms. Spanish is a huge one. A lot of people miss out on the Spanish keywords in the .com marketplace. So make sure you get those into your listing. They have a lot of traffic being driven there.
John, this is really juicy stuff. I just want to, if I can quickly weigh in as well. I think for me, what stands out, one is don't just rely on a reverse lookup tool, because you got to use your brain, right? At the end of the day, that's really what separates, the winners from the people that don't win, right? I mean, don't just rely on that. You got to decide on relevancy. Talking about using like Amazon's tools, you mentioned brand analytics. Recently, there's a new tool in beta that Amazon is offering in terms of the Product Opportunity Explorer. John, do you have any experience with that? Do you have any insight about using that as a possible tool because it's direct from Amazon? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Amazon is a pretty tricky API to navigate for software developers like ourselves, right? And through our partnerships with Amazon, understanding search volume and things like that, we've had a leg up and a clear understanding of that. They've now obviously released a lot of that in the Product Opportunity Finder, as well as some other data points, which are kind of an extension of the brand analytics and where that's going. So it's not new data to us in terms of how we connect with Amazon to use that data in our tools. But I think having that ability now, like kind of public with our sellers, is a good thing, right? So people get in there, they can look at that. They're not going to find anything in there that we don't have in ours. And I think the opportunity still lies in how we can visualize that data, which I think Amazon at the end of the day is not great at visualizing their own data, right? So how can we visualize that in the right way to ensure that you as a seller can make clear decisions based on that data? So we it's definitely worth looking at. I would say that if you go into our niche finder tool and you're looking at product opportunities, you're going to find similar data points, but visualized in a much easier, better way than what you're going to find there. So, but certainly I would jump in and look at that tool for sure.
Sounds good. And Araceli had a question. What are backend search terms?
Yeah, sure. So when you're setting up your listing, you have the keywords and the search terms that customers see, which is on your front end, like the title, bullets, descriptions. The backend search terms is just, there's a few fields that when you set up your listing that you can fill out, that the algorithm looks at as well. It helps to categorize. It helps to kind of put in some keywords that don't necessarily need to be on the front end of your listing. And those are typically, only sellers can see that within their account, but we have a way of actually showing that. So, you can always see what people put in there.
Excellent. And Deborah had a comment. Amazon would not provide me with the product opportunity explorer tool, maybe because I'm a new seller. They told me to wait until next year. So just to let you guys know, it is still in beta. So not everybody has access yet. For my account, I didn't have access initially until I asked them. So there is an email address that you can use to try to contact to unlock that, but it's still in beta. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, John, I believe Amazon said that it would be available to sellers in 2022. But that's as far as I hear.
Right. Yeah, you're right. If you some people were given access immediately. Typically, they were bigger sellers, but you can ask. And I think I asked on one of our accounts, and I asked like 3 times in 3 weeks, and then eventually they gave it to me. So if they don't respond to you, just ask again. That's how it works.
Yeah. That's actually, John, it's funny you mentioned that 3 times in 3 weeks. That's like a trick of the trade when working with Amazon, because you have to keep asking, and sometimes it takes weeks, it takes months, but eventually, you got to be like a woodpecker. Eventually, you will get that. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting because they have their own metrics on their side, right? If they have an open case and it's not closed and it keeps getting open and open, that hurts whoever's the customer support on that end. So just keep asking. Someone's going to eventually, need to scratch that itch and close that account. So
exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going, John. Great stuff.
All right, good. Hopefully, that's actually the end. I'm going to jump into a demo right now. So again, what we covered there, just high level, was obviously contextual optimization, looking at what is Amazon doing, right? How can we best align with what Amazon wants and needs? What are customers wants and needs? How can we align with what customers want? What do I need to do on my end to make sure that I'm the best, there and in the space? And then whatever the other one was, there's 4 of them, right? So I can't remember what the other one was at this moment, but make sure that your competitors, in the industry as well. So, these are all things that you need to look at and make sure that you're looking at from all of those angles. And if you do it from all of those angles, you're going to have the best listing on page 1. I'm going to jump in and just show you quickly inside of ZonGuru, do some thinking on just a basic listing that I just pulled up before this. And then we can go to some Q&A. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
I see a blank window in Chrome right now.
Yeah,
I think it's loading. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay,
good. This is just a product that I just pulled up for a second. This is obviously Amazon, right? And what I typed in here is a rustic corner shelf, right? You can see rustic corner shelf over there. These are all the products that came up for that. This, in my opinion, is maybe a decent product to kind of get into on Amazon. It's kind of more of a private label product. I kind of love furniture, especially if it's like easy to make furniture, easy to assemble furniture, because it's easy to expand that product line when you have a really good manufacturer, right? So these are all the different products. I think I got at this keyword using our niche finder tool, and rustic really stood out. Anyway, this is our kind of niche finder tool. I'm not going to get into the detail of how we come up with the niche score, but it's on Amazon.com. It's a decent niche score. It's got like decent buyer demand. There's competition opportunity. You can beat the competitors. It has a decent investment capital amount and also a decent revenue potential, like a good price point, right? So it's not a bad category. what I just wanted to show you is like if I'm competing against these guys, right? Who are the listings that are getting the most clicks and conversions? We call it out here. You can see this all number orange, number one. This is the guy right now getting the most clicks and conversions. Is it his price? Is it his images? This is the guy who's getting number two, Tribe Designs, and there's a number three down here. It's another Tribe Design. So these are the guys who are not only got good revenue, but they're also getting a lot of the clicks and conversions. So in theory, what I did is I just took one of these brands and said, hey, this is my brand. And then I've added in a few of the competitors so that when we look at the listing optimization, we can say, hey, these are the best optimized listings getting the most clicks, most conversions, best rank, best revenue. How do I make sure that I'm better than them? So at least I'm going into the marketplace with the best foot in the door. And that's what we can do, obviously, with ZonGuru. So this is just a simple tool. By the way, just insider knowledge, we're doing a massive update to our Chrome extension. It's even getting better. It's our most popular tool. And that's actually released and kind of coming out in the next day or two. So look out for the new one. It's pretty awesome. Some new features on there as well. Okay, so let's just say that was my category, right? I've gone in and run a keywords on fire session. So I've run the session just to show you what it does. But essentially what I did is I typed in rustic corner shelf, which is my main buy keyword. And what the tool does is it brings up the top 25 organic listings. And it says, hey, do you want to pull these into the analysis? And we say, yes. We put in those listings. We look at the reverse lookup on that. But then what we do in addition to that is we dedupe that with Amazon API data around what customers are actually putting into Amazon right now. Data like the product opportunity finder, data like brand analytics, data like, various other data points. We dedupe against it. So you're getting the best of both worlds. And then we put a relevancy score on that. So you can see here we have 300 unique keywords. We don't have 5,000, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're optimizing your listing, you need the most relevant keywords for your product. And we do an amazing job of making sure that they're relevant. So you're not just putting garbage into your listing. And so that's what you kind of get out at the end of the day. You can do multiple keyword searches, but we pull all that data together and we give you the keywords. So you can see we've got 21 competitors that are being analyzed in this mix of the unique keywords. We give a total revenue and a search volume, and then we give you all of the keywords. Excuse me. Now all the keywords that we have here at a high level, we give a relevancy score based on search volume and relevancy for your product. It's called the ZG score. We give you dollars from keywords. We give you search volume. And then we give you an interesting one, which is called the top 25 competitors. Now, what this means is this is how many of these 21 competitors rank in the top 25 positions for that keyword. So this is a really interesting one when we talk about relevancy of competitors. How many of the competitors are actually ranking for that keyword? This is really important. And you can see on the right here, these are all of those competitors and where they actually rank for those keywords. So you can see as I scroll down here, it goes all the way to the right here. But as I scroll down, you can see the red ones is they obviously rank really well for that. And the green ones, there's more opportunity there. And the ones with the dot means they rank outside of position 250. So, you can start to see when you really start to analyze this, hey, what are the keywords I should go for versus my competition? Are there really important ones? So if I'm just looking here, just as a theoretical example, right? Corner shelving, corner wall shelves, I can look at the search volume. Hey, 7,000. Hey, only 8 of the top 2 of these 21 competitors are ranked in the top 25. So, should I go for, either of these, right? Or should I go for a good one down here? I think I saw a small corner shelf. It's like a good search volume, right? Even better, but only 6 are ranking for that, right? So if I go further down, maybe it's floating corner shelves, right? Floating corner shelves here, even better search volume and dollars from keywords, and only 5 are ranking. So when you're starting to look at the keywords you need to target, it's not just like, hey, relevancy and search volume. It's like, what are my competitors doing and how can I beat them, right? So there's a whole bunch of ways you can filter the data. But an easy one that I would do is have this list of keywords. But maybe what I'd do is I'd go here and say, hey, give me the ZG score of anything greater than or equal to 70, right? Which just means they're really relevant keywords with an above 70 score, right? There's 24 keywords.
John, sorry, can I interrupt for a second? I think this is very important, and this is something that not a lot of people talk about. When you look at the top 25 competitors, so for example, small corner shelf, right? I see 6 out of 25. So that could be, what is a rule of thumb for like a good opportunity? Is 6 out of 25 good, or what would you suggest?
It depends on what comes back in this the keyword search, right? You've got to look, if you're seeing a whole bunch of keywords and everyone's like, 12, 15 of them are ranking in the top 25, then you've obviously got to start to look down a little bit further, like maybe like the 12, the 13, right? Or so it's kind of looking at the context of the page and how many rank. But when I scan through this, if I'm starting to see, hey, some really interesting keywords here that have 6 or so, like I know I can win at that for sure. And as long as it's still relevant for my product, which it is, because it's a rustic corner shelf, I should start to focus on those keywords. And you might actually run a couple of these and then say, hey, you know what, like let me run it again, but even do a much more targeted keywords and look at it again. So there's a whole bunch of ways you can look at this. But anything under 10, I think, is where I would start to definitely look and understand that I can, as long as it's relevant for my keyword, I would put it in there.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then more importantly, it's also about choosing keywords, right? Because it's really important when you're doing that title, if I'm exact matching right up front to my listing, which are the keywords that I should really focus on that I could win. And it's not always just the high search volume. It might be mid search volume, but hey, there's a massive opportunity here in a competitive category that no one's owning. Let me own that. Let me get that into my title, right? So, if I was looking at this, I would probably, especially the small corner shelf, like that could be really interesting, right? To put in there a rustic small corner shelf, something like that, right? So, there's a lot of search volume, and I'll show you in a second when you actually look at what people want for this corner shelf. It is small. It is something that fits really well into the wall, right? So these are things that people might be missing out on. When I was just saying that filter, right, I could put in like, hey, give me anything of over 70, but maybe also give me the top 25 competitors that are less than or equal to 6. Let's just put that in, right? Let's just hit that. So now, 6, not 60. Yeah, I got it. So now there's 17 keywords, right? So these 17 keywords, as long as they're relevant, they're not as competitive and they have decent relevancy and probably decent search volume. Maybe what I'd even do is just kind of sort it really quick by search volume, right? And just see like the keyword that I'm seeing here is a corner bookshelf, right? As that word, that's got huge search volume, right? And huge dollars. So corner bookshelf is probably a really good one. Corner shelf stand, a little bit less, but these are ones that competitors are not owning, that if I just put rustic corner bookshelf, that might be much stronger than rustic corner shelf, right? So bookshelf as a word is obviously what people are typing in. So these are insights that you can really start to see, and you can see where people are ranking for these. So a lot of sophisticated ways you can look at the data here. You can save all of these views, and have all your short tail, high volume keywords, maybe then some of your opportunity keywords, and you can build your listing with having these different views, and also using this for your PPC is really important. And then, by the way, you can also look at your competitors, just clicking at the top here and say, hey, give me all the keywords that my top competitor ranks for or doesn't rank for, right? And filter by that. So you can really at a high level see, hey, my top competitors are ranking for these keywords, but they're not ranking for these. And do some of those have really good search volume? Yes, let me put those into my listing. So really sophisticated way of looking at your listing keywords and getting that ready for your listing optimization.
Excellent. John, a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
Robin earlier had asked, can you explain the colored numbers on the products in the grid to the right-hand side? I believe you quickly explained that. Can you just repeat what you said, just so we make sure we understand?
It's simple. It's the green means it's more opportunity, so they've got lower ranking. So he's 63. Orange is like he's kind of in the middle, and 9 they're ranking on page 1, right? So that it's so at a high level when you look at this, right, I can just kind of scroll over, right, and if I'm looking down, maybe at a high level I can be like, okay, cool, like, hey, maybe this is a really good keyword because there's a lot of green here, right? And I can just scroll to that side and just see like what is it saying? It's a wall corner shelf, right? So maybe that's an opportunity that simply the competitors aren't really owning, right? So it kind of gives you a visual way of just really looking at high level keywords first.
So in other words, those are the ranking positions, for example, corner bookshelf, that the top competitors are ranking for. So the higher the number means that there could be more opportunity because they're ranked like 22, for that
Exactly.
keyword. So maybe
Yeah.
you can come in and get a higher position.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Araceli had a follow-up question. Can you please give us some examples of short tail versus long tail?
Yeah. So in this example, right, a short tail would be corner shelf, right? There's probably a bunch of traffic going in for that. And a longer tail would be rustic brown corner wall shelf, right? If your product matches those and it's a longer tail keyword because it's more descriptive, your chance of converting on that is much higher because people are typing in a longer keyword. They're looking for a very specific product. It's kind of saying water bottle versus what I said, like white camping water bottle for men. If someone types that in and your product matches, you're going to convert way better than water bottle, right?
Yeah.
I know we're running long on time as well, so I'm going to keep jamming. But
okay, let's keep going.
You can also sort by any of these competitors, see the keywords and what they rank for, right? So another easy way to look at it. So once you've got your keywords right, and you're like, hey, these are all the relevant keywords. You can just go into Listing Optimizer, find your listing. Sorry, this should have been loaded already, but let's just jump in here real quick. Here we go. All keywords. Let's just do all. Find my keywords, not dog bed. Let's grab another one here. I think we're running through Zoom, so it's just being a little slow. But it's here we go.
Yeah, we are doing this live, so
rustic corner shelf. There we go. Load the keywords. So what I've done, just at a high level, is I've pulled in on the right-hand side the top listings that get the most clicks and conversions, right? Tribe Designs was one of them. Vazagle was another one. Olakey is another one. And then Hombazar was another one. I think this live is just super slowing this down. Sorry about that. I should have loaded this beforehand. When this loads, I'll show it to you guys. But let's just pretend that our listing is Olakey, right? So Olakey is our listing. And then it's going to give me an optimization score. Damn, guys. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. It should load. Let's give it one more second.
Let's give it a.
There we go.
Give it a
there we go.
Yep.
Sorry, I think it's just it doesn't do that in real life. I promise.
We are live, so when we do that, it slows everything down. But
yeah exactly. Mm-hmm. So the main thing here is that as you put it's still loading. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so it loads the keywords, but then what it does over here is you will get an optimization score for each one of these listings, right? So if I scroll down at a high level, man, I'm sorry, guys. This looks like it's stuck right now. So let's just keep loading that. I'm going to come back to that in a second because I know we're running out of time. But let me just jump over to one other thing that you can look at, which is important, which is your it's a tool called Love Hate, right? And what this does, I just ran one, but it's you just put in your keyword, and what it does is it pulls in the top 25 organic listings, and then pulls in all of the reviews for all of those, good, bad, middle of the road, and then it does a semantic word cloud on all of those common phrases, and then puts them together, right? So now I have all of the products in the top here, but then over here I have all of the common phrases that people love or hate about the product. And then below that, we pull out all of the listings and what it says. So for example, if I'm looking at this right now, fits perfect is maybe something that I should be looking at, right? And I can go down here and look at all the reviews, and it will tell me exactly what the comment is and then what they're saying about that. So this is really good at getting at that emotional connection of what people really love or hate about a product. And if I high level look at this, it is important to have the screwdriver probably included, right? That's really important. People are saying things about real wood, right? So saying it's not real wood, like if it's a rustic corner wood shelf, probably ensuring that it's proper wood is probably a really good thing. And if yours is, you should call that out, right? Assembly instructions, metal parts, power tools. So this is a really good way of when you're creating your listing, is to make sure that you understand what your customers really care about, putting it into your listing, into your benefit overlays, and even into some of your PPC ads, right? Your product branded campaigns is really important. So that was just a tool that I wanted to show you. Here we go. The listing is loaded. Sorry about the wait on that, guys. But you can see now that Tribe Designs has the best optimization score of 24,000. Actually, this guy has Hombazar. He's got 25,000, right? And then Olaki, the one that we're saying is our brand, has the lowest optimization, right? So my goal here is to understand what are my competitors optimized for, but then also what am I optimized for, and how do I beat them, right? So if I just click over to this one, Olaki, I think it's my computer, guys. I think I'm like so slow today. I don't know what's going on.
No worries.
Yeah. Anyway, it looks like something is going on here. So okay, I'm on Olaki right now. So just at a high level, these are all the most important keywords, right? And I know that if I can add some of these dark green keywords to my listing, it will give me the most relevant score. And I can see whether it's exact match to my title, whether it's, appears in my bullets as a check mark or phrase match. And if I can look at my competitors, understand what they're doing, and then make sure that my listing is better optimized than them by adding these keywords, not only to my listing, but to my back end, I will have the best score in the business. Sorry, it's just reloaded. So we're gonna have to exit on that point. I'm sorry about that. So we didn't see the final optimization there, but essentially what happened on the final optimization is showing you some of those keywords, which is like bookshelf, right? We had that one which is like corner bookshelf. By simply adding that word bookshelf as one word into your title, it pushed the optimization score up like 17,000. And then I think I did a couple more things and I got it above 25,000. So I'm sorry I couldn't show you that. It literally outside of sharing it here, it works perfectly. So add a couple of those keywords. Just simply by putting on the left hand side to the right, and then also the backend keywords. There's a trick at the end. You can just hit backend keywords, and it'll upload the balance of those keywords straight into your backend, and then you can optimize that and upload it to your listing. So sorry I couldn't show you the end of that, but in theory, what it does is it'll highlight to you the core keywords that you need to add to your listing. You add those and you'll get a better optimization score than your competitors, and you can go from there. So super simple.
Awesome. That's great. Technical difficulties, they happen. So we had a couple of quick questions. Do you want to wrap up first and we'll take the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. I think look, I think at the end of the day, you see even me clicking on the next slide is taking a long time to load. I don't know what's going on my computer. We have 17 different tools, not only just obviously listing and launch, but research, product monitoring, product pulse, events, understanding your competitors' events, getting triggered by those, profitability analysis, review automation. Check out all the tools. Super cool ones with unique features in there. And right now we're running this special. It actually launched today for partners like Gary. Just type that link. And you can get 50% off your first month. So literally, you'll try all of those tools for about $20 for the month. So just get in there, jump in, and use that, and at least get in. You get a 7-day free trial and $20 for the month, or $25 depending on what plan you choose. Just try some of those tools. At least go in and just do that optimization. Like get the keywords, drop it into the listing. If you have any questions on that, or if you want a tutorial, they are inside the app. You can do that, or just hit customer support. They'll send you a tutorial. Just follow that and at least check your listing. Hey, have I put my best foot forward? Who are my best competitors? What are they doing? What are their backend search terms looking like? And how can I best beat them? And just get that all ready and probably push that in the new year, right? It's really important. So I would just get in and at least try this for the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. I dropped a link in the chat, guys. So if this is helpful to you, I highly recommend that you check out this package that Jon has prepared for 50% off the first month, zonguru.link/7FSS-winter. All right. So we have a couple more questions before we wrap up. We have about 5 minutes left, guys. All right. So Aracely says, love hate. That's a cool tool. Awesome. Deborah asks, if most competitors are using a hero keyword, which is like yours, you should look at less competitive keywords. When you first launch, should you use your hero keyword so the algorithm will search for organic listing?
So the answer is both, right? So you need to optimize for your main hero keywords or those higher volume keywords, like have them in your listing for sure. And you need to have a PPC campaign that drives to those high volume keywords, as long as they're relevant for your brand. I need to stress relevancy, right? Because it needs to, if they're going to, drive traffic to your listing, you need to convert, because that's what the algorithm loves, right? But what I usually do is I run a separate campaign where I pull out those opportunity keywords, which are low volume, less competition, mid volume, less competition, longer tail keywords. And I'll actually make sure they're in my listing, but I'll pull that out as a separate PPC campaign and drive traffic to those. Because if I can convert on those keywords and my competitors are sleeping and they're not thinking about those, I'll start to get a great conversion rate on those, and that will start to cause a halo effect on your listing, and those shorter tail keywords, hero keywords, will convert better. So run both of those. It's a super cool tactic to run when you launch your product, or if you launch, you just want to get more traffic, do that too.
Excellent. Jeannie had a question. Once we optimize our listing, our competitors can analyze and copy our listings and keywords. Then we lose the competitive advantages. What should we do after that?
Look, we have an IP monitor tool, so it will flag to you. You can put in what you want. If someone copies your images or bullets, we'll flag it to you and say, hey, this dude across all the global marketplaces is copying your listing, right? So if you do that, if you're trademarked, you can submit that simply through the EBC trademark portal, and you can get the listing flagged and then hopefully removed, right? So that's step one. Step two is I wouldn't worry about that too much. Like if they're just copying your bullets and listings, they've got a crap product anyway, and your product's better than theirs, and you're going to get more conversion, better customers, better health rating. You're going to do better than them no matter what. So you've got those are the small things that can distract you from really focusing on your business, and just get your listing in. Keep optimizing it, focus on your customer service, focus on your product iterations, flag people if they copy your listing, but don't get distracted by that. You've got bigger fish to fry. Yeah.
Great advice. Deborah followed up. I meant PPC for hero keywords, starting only 200 characters. Good idea to have separate campaign for long tail keywords.
So the question is, should you run PPC just for your hero keywords? No, I think I think you should run PPC to those hero keywords that have higher volume. Yes, you should definitely have those, but have that separate campaign running it to those mid volume opportunistic keywords, and get the conversion rate going for that, because that's kind of your way in against your competitors. So I hope I answered that. If not, Deborah, you can follow up with me for sure.
What's the best way to follow up with you, John, for people that want to follow up?
Look, you can just go to, just use my email, john@zonguru.com. No problem. Anybody here, you can grab that, jon@zonguru.com. If there's a question specific to this, I'll answer it. Otherwise, just go to zonguru.com, hit up support. They're an amazing team of sellers as well. They're passionate. They'll help you with anything. And then our blog, Instagram, anything like that, just check it out.
Awesome. There you go, from the co-founder, right? He's open to being contacted. I think very few.
Only for you, Gary. Only for you.
Thank you. And only for you guys, our community, 7-Figure Seller Summit. I try to, sometimes I twist these guys' arms, as you can see, so we can get as much value as we can for you guys. All right. Araceli had a follow-up question. I understand ZonGuru has great tools to help us with these searches, and you have training videos. However, do you have a way to have someone walk you through these type of searches?
Yes. And the short answer is, there's two answers. One is we have weekly live trainings. So if you are part of ZonGuru, you get access to weekly live trainers from 2 of our 7-figure Amazon sellers. They're doing literally weekly trainings and going like, hey, if you want to find a product, this is how you do it. If you want to ask me questions, you can ask me questions. If you want to do what I've just done right now, they'll jump on and do that. So you have access to that. And then the second thing is we have 2 challenges. One is a product research challenge, and one is a listing optimization challenge, kind of what I've gone through right now. And the way the listing optimization challenge is broken out is, I think it's a 4-day or a 5-day challenge. Each day we give you a specific piece of education and steps to follow and get that done in a short chunk of time. And then the next day we'll give you another one. So the idea is not to give you all of this thing to do at once. We break it into a couple of days, and then by the end of that day, you will have the best listing optimization on page 1. So we break it down for you. If you want that challenge, I think it's actually going live today as well. We're putting that up on our main homepage. It's a winter special challenge, and you get access to that. You also get a free ZonGuru t-shirt with that. So check it out.
Cool. Is that a free challenge, or is that like a paid challenge?
It's a paid challenge, but you get 2 weeks free of ZonGuru as well included in that. and I think it's $50 or $49. Access to that and 2 free weeks of ZonGuru as well. So
super
cool.
If people visit the link that we are offering, can they get in on that challenge as well?
No, no, they have to go use that link so that it tracks for Gary, and then go to the homepage and you'll see the other link. I think it's going live tonight as we speak, right? So check out for that. It'll be a page with 2 challenges. One is product research and one is listing optimization focused. So just jump in through there and try that. If you want a little bit more of the education hand-holding, go with that one. If you just want to jump in and use the tools, go with this one. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Just to be transparent, I am an affiliate of ZonGuru, so I am testing their tools out. I think that they do add a lot of value. And if you do purchase through my link, I will get a small commission. It helps to pay for my coffee. I definitely need coffee to help keep me going, guys. So I appreciate that. If not, feel free to just visit their homepage. You can get in on that any way you prefer. All right.
Yeah, not only that, just to add to that, but like just doing an engaged link just kind of gets us to see how we can better partner as partners, see where the traffic's coming from, add more value, and just help you guys more. So it's not just about all the affiliates and commissions. It's about just understanding the traffic and making sure that we're providing good information to you guys, value. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. Last questions. We're already over time. We got to run right after this. Robin asks, how often would you suggest to review your listing optimization to make sure it is still performing on new customer keywords, John?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, it's probably in the non-busy season, I would look at it at least once a month or maybe once every 2 months, and then do that partial upload either through ZonGuru or a flat file, and just refreshing the keywords and the listing on the site. Partial uploads are great. It's never going to overwrite anything that Amazon already has. It's just going to add to that if they've dropped anything off. So I would do that. But during this season right now, when you're really kind of dialed in and you're just looking for sales over Christmas, you can do partial uploads, but don't touch your back-end keywords. I wouldn't do that right now. But in the new year, just do it once every month or once every 2 months for sure.
Excellent. All right. And Deborah says, thanks, John. I'm already a ZonGuru user.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Good. And Jeannie says, thank you as well. So we covered a lot, John. Thank you so much for this in-depth training today. In closing, if you were to offer your number one recommendation to someone trying to out optimize against their competition, what's the most important thing to do first? What's the first thing they need to do?
Run a keywords on fire session. I think understanding what are the most relevant keywords versus your competitors and what should you be dialing in on. That's goal that not many sellers look at. They don't think that far through, and you see opportunity there that simply your competitors are not owning. So once you understand what that is, then you can look at your competitors and really optimize against them. So run that. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks so much, John. Some final comments. Robin says, awesome. Thanks. Ashley says, thank you, Gary, for the continued great content. 7-Figure Seller Summit was a great investment. Thank you, John. Yes, thank you so much, guys. And just to let you know, this will be the last live webinar of the year. We're going to close down for the holidays. We will see you guys in 2022, and watch out for 7-Figure Seller Summit 6. That's going to launch in February 28th through March 4th. Hopefully we can get John and ZonGuru back as well. So thank you again, everybody. And thank you, John, for taking time out. I know you're super busy. A ton of value dropped today, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, just remember, I was the last guy of this year live webinar where we had technical difficulties where it wasn't loading properly. Sorry.
that happens. I mean, it's anything could happen live. So
I'm gonna get a new computer on my side. I don't know.
Yes, ask ZonGuru to get you a new computer. Please tell them. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Have a happy holidays. We will see you guys in 2022. Thanks, John, and bye, everybody.
Good. Catch you guys later. Bye.